I was born and raised in Florida, which was a hotbed for professional wrestling back in the day when they had the territories. It's quite cool. I didn't know that growing up until my father came home. He had lunch with the sports editor for the newspaper. And they used to comp him a couple wrestling tickets for writing the results of every Tuesday night, who won, who lost, the great Malenko and Eddie Graham and stuff. So my dad came home with 2 wrestling tickets, and I was about 12 years old. And he said, "Hey, Billy, I got tickets for wrestling." I said, "Wrestling? What's that? Never heard of it, never seen it." This was on a Friday. So he gave me the tickets, and so they set up on the fireplace all weekend. And so curiosity got me. I said, "Okay, let me go check this wrestling now. Let me go see what it's about." I had no clue. It's on TV every week. So I walk in, there's Eddie Graham, the blonde hair, the great Malenko, Bobo Brazil, and many others. And I fell in love with the business that day. And I said, this is what I want to do. But I was so small, it was like 150 pounds. Now I'm like 165. So there's no way I could compete and be a wrestler. So the next best thing to be in the ring would be the referee. And somehow after going to the matches for years, I start meeting guys. I met the Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson, and King Curtis. And they steered me in a direction as a referee because I was small and make them look big, and it was just a good fit. And then when being in the right place at the right time, bam, I got my chance, and I've been in the business for 42 years.
So I hear a lot of stories because I do a weekly show with Don Morocco, so I've heard a load of stories about King Curtis.
I love Don Morocco. Tell him I said hello, please. Fonzie from Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do. I speak to
still
him every
in
week.
Hawaii. He still lives in Hawaii.
Yeah, still on Sunset Beach. Still swimming in the waters now. He can't surf anymore because his knees are shot. But other than that, he's got a good life going.
Congratulations, Don Morocco.
I know he's a good man. With Florida, who was the one person who actually, let's say you probably went to a lot of wrestlers and said, I really want to be in the business. Who was the first name who took you seriously and, put their arm around you?
Rocky Johnson, the Rock's dad, and King Curtis. King Curtis was a big name back in the day.
And how did they, how did you sort of convince them that you'd be a good fit for a referee?
Well, after going every Tuesday night to the wrestling matches and watch them, and then found out where they go after the wrestling matches, they went to this bar and they went to eat. I would show up, and then they'd always see me. And then one of them asked me one day, "Hey, would you mind going to get us sandwiches, or would you mind picking somebody up at the airport?" And that was my way in. I said, "Oh my God, yes!" So I was known for pick up the guys, or bring them food or whatever. And then next thing you know, Rocky Johnson invited me to his home. I had an apartment out of his home somewhere else, but invited me over. We became friends and stuff. And he really pushed for me to be ready. He saw how much I loved the business. And I was a perfect size.
Exactly. You don't want to overshadow the wrestlers in the ring, don't you?
Correct.
Exactly. Can you remember the very first match you ever refereed?
Yes. So my friend, one of my best friends, who, remember, the sports editor for the newspaper gave my dad 2 tickets. So I took my best friend, David Canals, the Cuban assassin, David Sierra. He got himself booked in Texas, and he said, "Hey, Fonzie, why don't you go with me to Texas, and I'll take care of you. I'll pay your way. And let's see if we can get you a job refereeing. I'll tell the promoters," which was the Funks, Joe Blanchard, Von Erich. Those are the promoters in Texas. "I'll tell them you're my little brother and that you're referee. And if they can use you, my little brother's going to be with me all summer." So they used me a couple of times in 6 months. And my first professional match, this is why Sabu and I love each other so much. When I met Sabu for the first time, I told him the story. So the first time I actually got paid, I made $90. This was in probably 79, 78, 79. And the main event, which I refereed, was the Sheik Sabu's uncle, the original Sheik, and Terry Funk in a chain match. And the Sheik stabbed me with a pencil and tore my shirt off, and I got through that really good. Somehow I did a fantastic job, and then from there I started getting more bookings, and then I moved back to Florida.
Oops, the video's gone.
Okay,
there you go. You're back. You're back. You're back.
Okay, that was a call.
So you're getting more bookings after the Sheik match?
Yes, yeah. The promoters had a little respect for me because I did real good. I handled myself good, and then I was in Texas for like 6 months. But the whole time I was there, I only worked like 4 or 5 times in the 6 months as a referee because they had their own referees. They had David Manning, they had Bronco Lubitsch, they had this guy, they had that guy. So there was no room for an extra referee. So I told my friend, I said, look, Dave, I appreciate you bringing me out to Texas and you paid my way and paid my food and all that. But, you know, I've been out here 6 months and I worked 4 or 5 times. I'm going back to Florida. So all the wrestlers caught wind that I was leaving and going back to Florida. And a wrestler named Paul Jones, #1, a small guy, Paul Jones, was a great wrestler back in the day. He said, hey, Fonzie, I heard you're leaving. I said, yeah, because I can't get a spot here refereeing. They got their own referees. He said, well, listen, when you get back to Florida, I want you to go to the Florida Championship Wrestling office. And Jerry Briscoe is a dear friend of mine. And he's assistant booker for Dusty Rhodes. Dusty was the booker in Florida. And you tell him that I sent you and that you're a referee and you're available. You just came back from Texas and you're back in Florida. If there's any way they can use you, so on and so on. And Jerry Briscoe told me, he said, well, Fonzie, it was nice to meet you. You got the background. I didn't tell him I only worked 4 times, 6 months. But I told him I did this and I did that, but I wasn't lying. And he said, well, you got the qualifications, you got a little background. And if we could, unfortunately, we have our own referees here, but maybe this summer we're going to run 2 shows on the weekends and maybe you can work the show. Leave your number downstairs with Charlie Lay, the guy at the front desk. So I said, thank you very much. This was on a Monday morning. So I left my name and stuff with Charlie Lay. And Monday, they went to West Palm Beach. Florida ran West Palm Beach, was a 200 mile from Tampa. Tampa was the base, was the office. Yep. So they ran West Palm on Monday, Tampa Tuesday, Miami Wednesday, Thursday Jacksonville, Friday and Saturday was spot shows, and Sunday was Orlando. And it would repeat itself back in the day, week after week after week. We were in the same building every Monday, West Palm, every Tuesday, Tampa. So I left the Florida office after Jerry Briscoe said, leave your name. I was a little discouraged, but at least he said, leave your name down. If we can use you, we'll call you. So I get a call Tuesday morning, the next day, and it was Jerry Briscoe. And he said, hey, they would like to have you come down and referee tonight at the Armory. And I said, okay, great. Thank you. What happened was the referee that they had was driving to West Palm Beach with the 3 main events in the car, and it was sold out. West Palm Beach was sold out. So they had the semi-main event, the main event, and he had a flat tire. The referee had a flat tire, and he had no spare tire in the car. So they missed the show. They get the 3 main events in the car. And Dusty fired him on the spot. Dusty fired him. There's no reason to have no spare tire. You got the 3 main events in the car. So I refereed Tuesday night. Then they asked me, hey, can you make Miami tomorrow, Wednesday? I said, yes, thank you. Can you make Jacksonville Thursday? I said, yes, thank you. Can you make this and that Friday and Saturday? And by the time we hit Sunday, Jerry Briscoe walked up to me and said, congratulations, you got a full-time job. This was May of 1980. Congratulations, we like your work and we'd like to hire you full-time as our referee. And I said, great. And that was May of 1980, and I've been working ever since.
It's funny, you mentioned Jerry Briscoe. I'm interviewing him tomorrow, so I can mention that story to him.
Oh, he's a very dear friend of mine, and I see him. We have lunches. We have a Legends lunch every month or every 8 weeks or something, and all the legends that live in Florida, we all go meet and have a nice time. I just saw him, Jack Briscoe was one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah, and
Jack
the
Briscoe
master of
and
the Figure
Dory
Four.
Funk Jr. Yeah, Jack Briscoe and Dory Funk used to have my goodness, great matches. My God, if you look back at them, no tables and chairs and all that. It was strictly wrestling back in the day. Jack was a world champion. Dory Funk was a world champion. And Dory is a dear friend of mine after all these years. So I had a fantastic time. And Jack is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.